When you overreact or when you start over-explaining, it's not because you are dramatic or insecure. It's because in that moment, you actually stop trusting yourself. You feel something that seems so real, hurt, rejection, disconnection. Maybe that someone is trying to control you, that someone is attacking you, that someone is neglecting you, or someone wants to destroy you, or someone wants to suppress you. And then some strong emotional reaction happens. But it happens because it aligns with one side of an inner conflict that already exists in you. But since this conflict is usually unconscious, one part of it, in that moment, gets projected onto the other person. In other words, we externalize a part of ourselves, and the psyche sees it as a chance to finally resolve that conflict that is so painful to see in yourself, that the only chance to touch it is by placing outside. This is the moment when two people get pulled into trauma complex, where each starts representing one side of their own internal split. That's why the reaction feels so charged. It touches a pain both people already know too well. And in the end, the connection between these two people is lost. No one feels understood, and you are left with an endless inner dialogue, usually, arguing with the other person who now represents the part of yourself you've disowned or never fully owned. Certain time later, when you look back, you think, why did I even react like that? And that adds another layer of self-doubt, making it even harder to trust yourself. But the real pain goes deeper, and it has even bigger effect on your life. When we are caught in a trauma complex, we can connect to our authentic needs or situational needs because we are chasing false ones. Something we did not get in the past, like safety, value, protection, freedom. In that chase, we ignore what we actually need in the moment. And when we ignore our situational needs, we send ourselves the message that our needs do not matter. In other words, we say we are not valuable. And this is why people don't feel valuable or don't have a contact with their self-worth. Or that's why they don't feel loved. Not because someone else didn't give it to them, but because they don't give it to themselves. That's what pulls us even deeper into trauma. Trauma means exactly that. When you chase your false needs without even asking yourself about your authentic needs. Most advice online says something that overreacting or over-explaining means you're giving away your power. And yes, it feels that way. But when you focus on getting your power back, you're still missing the point. Because when you reached out to that person originally, it wasn't to feel powerful. It was to experience something, maybe closeness, maybe feeling connected, maybe something else. And this practice helps you to return to that truth. This practice helps you to connect with self-worth. This practice helps you to increase life satisfaction. This practice is what self-love actually is. Not some set of affirmations or another meditation that pour resource into the container that has leaks in it. This practice repairs those leaks. And this practice is not for the beginners. I usually give it to my clients around the 5th session as a part of the Ascendant method, after we already gently touched on their leading inner conflicts and started working on false self, because it is truly hard to touch on some inner conflicts. So be patient with yourself. So when you are in a contact with someone and suddenly you feel bad, like you feel that someone is devaluing you, dismissing you, attacking you, trying to suppress you, pause for the moment and do the following steps. Step number 1. The first thing to notice is that you are not getting what you want. Yeah, this is what it is. You had certain expectations, and right now you're not getting what you want. The second thing to realize is that the other person is trying to meet their own need and is caught in their own vulnerability. They are not against you. They're just for themselves. Step number 3, realize that you are getting hurt by the other person because you have a demand toward yourself about how you should be seen, about what you should be given. And if someone devalues you, this means that you're devaluing yourself. But you don't have to do that. Step number 4, notice your feelings and all your parts. Notice shame that right now I'm probably being seen this way and I can be this way too. Resentment, that I'm not getting what I want, but why did I decide that it always has to go my way? Anger, that I want to push the other person because behind the wish for fairness and protection, there is a desire for satisfaction or revenge often. This is the moment when you begin freeing yourself from the false self. But if that false self is strong, like in people with narcissistic defenses, this step becomes extremely hard because every attempt to see yourself differently threatens the very structure that was built to protect you. And maybe it even worked in certain points, like in childhood. But now these defenses usually bring you away from what you need and what you want here and now. Step number 5, reflect. What the other person is doing, does it feel familiar to you? Have you ever reacted in a similar way? What were you feeling then? And what was driving you? Step number 6, before coming into contact with the other person, how did you feel? What need was present for you at that moment? What was important to you? And what have you now forgotten in this interaction? Step number 7, when you enter this interaction, what roles do you see yourself taking? And usually it's either a victim or the aggressor. What would happen if you didn't take either of these roles and didn't give or receive the badness, this feeling of being bad, guilt? What kind of role, behavior, feeling, or reaction could that be instead? Step number 8, what is this interaction? Which of your states, feelings, desires, or something else triggers resistance in you? And if, first of all, it is you who are doing this to yourself, then how do you see this interaction? There is so much emotional freedom in being able to see yourself differently and not fall apart because of it. When you begin to make contact with different parts of yourself, to accept yourself fully, the world literally starts to look different. And these transformations amaze me every single time. People spend their whole lives fighting to be seen a certain way, while the psyche keeps choosing people and situations that push them toward their authentic selves. And yes, that's one way to learn, through life's lessons. But you don't have to wait, and you don't have to keep replaying the same scenarios. You can do the same work in sessions faster, consciously, and safely. Book your free 30-minute call to see how you can transform how you feel about yourself, and the world is so fast to reflect it. And as always, please share, like, subscribe, comment, and I look forward to seeing you in my next videos.